What's up, everybody? It's Ricochet. Expansions. Fucking expansions. Okay, so I don't know what the textbook definition of an expansion is, but I can guarantee you that it's not actually just the rest of something you already bought. So there's my whole statement for The Taken King, Year 1, what happened with Destiny. Not going to go into the whole thing. Year 1 wasn't what it was supposed to be. The game kind of sucked as much as I didn't want to admit it. It was amusing, it was entertaining in limited proportion, but it wasn't anything like what was promised and blah, 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 blah. We know that, right? Nobody's getting a refund, so I don't need to rant about that. But expansion, to me, usually means you're going to expand on something. It's going to be more than what it was. They gave us the Dreadnought. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. We got a new raid. We got the Dreadnought. Orcs just floating around in the rings of Saturn. Somebody ever going to pick that guy up? Fucking space litter everywhere. We blew things up. We dropped dead bodies in space. It's all good. Humans can do no wrong, apparently. It's good. So that's an expansion. When they say expansion, I'm thinking, am I going to pay $40 for another buff to warlocks and some more dead bodies in space? Like, what is there to expand upon right now? I don't even know. So last time the expansion thing came up, I was like, you know what? They had a rough year 1. They lost their lead designer and their lead writer and their lead composer, and they were just recovering. They had a bad time. Everybody's had a bad time before. Let's give them the chance, guys. Now I hear expansion, and I'm already scared. I'm like, how close to nothing are they going to give us? Because if you keep in mind, the 3 subclasses, the additional subclasses, the slot for those classes were already in the game. When you picked your subclass, you could see it, so you knew it was there. So chances are, anything that's going to be in an upcoming quote-unquote expansion, especially since they say nothing major is going to happen until Destiny 2, anything that's going to be in a quote-unquote expansion is already somehow in the game as framework. So the rumors of people having seen orbit scenes around Saturn and things like that, we haven't seen any hint of Jupiter or Jupiter's moons, other than hints to the Jovians, things like that. We haven't seen anything in game for that, so most likely they're not there. The moon, moon strikes, new moon strikes, and things you can do on the moon. People had already gotten into those areas and they were locked before the expansion happened. So if we haven't found anything else, that shit's not in the game. That shit's not coming with an expansion. So are we looking at another $40 expansion? They said not a major expansion, but they also sold us a beta for $60 and some change. So I don't know if we're going to see a $40 not major expansion. I don't know. My big question for this rant is, Am I going to keep playing the game? No, I'm not one of those, I'm going to rage quit, and Bungie will miss me when I'm gone. Bungie doesn't give a flying fuck, especially since they've already gotten, like, upwards of $200 out of me. If they get that much from every consumer, then they're A-okay. This isn't about, like, trying to hurt someone else. I like Destiny, but I don't like wasting money. So I don't know if I'm going to buy the next one. And it's kind of heartbreaking. I've defended this game. I try to get people to play it. It's fun when you have people to play. But can I honestly say that even if they do put a new mechanic in the game or a new type of PvP or something, can I honestly say that I don't think it's probably just going to somehow buff Warlocks again? Because Warlocks get increasingly more powerful every time Bungie does something. I don't know. I can't say. I'm not as certain of the fun factor as I once was. Now, the other side of this is I do genuinely think that developers these days are in a difficult situation. Bungie in particular, just because they happen to be the topic right now. You got to remember The good times we remember with Bungie, Halo 1 and things like that, they were in a completely different environment. Them trying to balance PvP is just difficult. People remember such great times from Halo 1 because, you had your LAN parties maybe, but chances are you played with the people around you, maybe connected to TV, but probably played locally. So if you were the best out of your friends, then you were the best Halo player you knew. Right? You were godlike, and then you played co-op with them, and even if you weren't the best player out of your friends, you were second or third best, and you could do co-op, and that's fun, and you feel awesome. Now with the world opened up to Bungie shooters, I think it's just finally caught on to them that they've got to do different things with balancing, different things with the experience they promise, because despite people saying, until they're blue in the face that Destiny for some reason isn't a competitive experience, I think it is. I think it's a perfectly competitive experience, and that's part of what's wrong for most people. If you're good at Destiny, you do well at Destiny. If you're not, you don't. Now, you think that would be cut and dry. That's simple. That's what a game should be. But when you have marketing campaigns, one thing I've said a few times to people who know me, I think we're at a point in the gaming industry where they've gotten better at advertising than they have at developing games. So when you look at the commercials, when you look at the marketing material, you're expecting an awesome, epic experience. Again, I'm not going to go into too much of all the shit that was cut out of the single-player experience or the campaign experience that tells itself. I'm kind of talking specifically to multiplayer here, and that can hold a franchise up. Look at Call of Duty, look at Halo, look at a bunch of things. Where they struggled is that they kind of promised this epic experience and then gave a skill-based PvP experience. Even to the point where you can't use multiple types of guns in PvP. Because you might really love, and I'm a person who does it, I really love assault rifles. I really love burst rifles, pulse rifles, that's what they're called. And pulse rifles didn't have their day until they were so buffed that everyone was using them. Auto rifles kind of had their time, and by quote-unquote auto rifles, I mean Soros regime, had its time and then got nerfed. Generally speaking, there's going to be 1 to 4 guns that are on top in this game that are competitive, and everything else is just shit by comparison. See 1,000-yard stare that everyone still has a hard-on for. That's just how it's going to be. So the better you are at the strongest weapons in the game, the better you're going to be at the game. That's a competitive experience, but that's not what Bungie promised. You're supposed to feel awesome. That's kind of what they told us. And if you don't do things that make you feel awesome in PvP, there's supposed to be all this exploration that's open for you, and that's not there either. Their challenge is they do their advertising the way they do it to sell games, and then we get the game that we bought, and it's actually balanced for gameplay. Yeah, those are kind of competing goals. So while Destiny, or Bungie, and Destiny by expansion has kind of really screwed up on this one, on missing deliverables here, they got caught trying to do too many things right. You kind of have to make it really entertaining or really balanced. And those are your choices. I haven't seen anyone pull it off, or pull off doing both, unless they have separate game types. Now it gets into the last point for this here rant. The general first-person shooter experience, I think, in recent years is changing, and in coming years is going to have to continue changing. They're going to have to do something, because you can't have a Master Chief who's just a template anymore. That the player steps into the suit and they take on that image. It doesn't work anymore. The Master Chief is regarded as a boring protagonist now. He's kind of dry. So people are looking for kind of stories that are told for them instead of the promise of, oh, you're going to be epic and feel epic and tell your own story. That's not working anymore. So Bungie tried to do what they do best, and it didn't really work. So expansion potential. Are they going to continue to try to deliver something that they do very well, but isn't enjoyable anymore. I've got to think about this when I'm actually going to have to think before throwing money at Bungie next time, because I'm not so sure that they're adapting very well. And apparently their CEO isn't so sure either. So I guess we'll see. Alright, this is Ricochet's rant. The first rant, of course, about Destiny, a game that's eaten up like a year of my time at this point. Check back for more. I'll rant on varied topics, something that pisses me off, probably a game, or something about the people who play them. Have a good one.